Hey everybody, welcome to Monday. I actually have to retract something I said last week. More on that in a bit, but I want to do some housekeeping first. First of all, those of you who joined for the Zoom party on Friday, I am happy to report that our friend was okay the next day. The Zoom party was a combination of discussing like Marcus Aurelius and Dante's Divine Comedy and really highbrow stuff like that, and then like cathartic drinking and silliness, and some people got very drunk. But one person who got drunk was okay, and he was okay the next day, and I think he regrets nothing. So if you want to join us next time, we do a very diverse in terms of experience Zoom party. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeettaK. Okay, the second thing I have to talk about is something involving Boss Fight Episode 3. I went through the script Friday and realized that this is the episode coming up is the episode on games from like violence, racism, sexism, antisocial behaviors, all that stuff. And a segment of it is dealing with politicians that have made comments about gaming in the past, about gaming and, antisocial outcomes and things like that. So I don't think Boss Fight Episode 3 was going to be ready before the November U.S. presidential election. But even if it was, I will not air this before the U.S. election. I don't want anybody suggesting I'm trying to sway anyone's vote in this regard. So I'm saying that now because I looked at it. It's like, oh man, I'm going to have to do two versions. I'm either going to have to wait until after the election, which I don't want to do, or I'm going to have to record two versions of the show. One if Trump wins and one if Biden wins. Awesome. Joy. So just letting you guys know that's what's going on. Obviously there's only like just under a month before that happens, which is not a lot of time. It's not a big deal. Just letting you guys know. Now to that thing I said I needed to retract. First of all, I am going to be going ahead and playing Cyberpunk. The argument that persuaded me, if anyone is curious, is the people that said, one, at least CD Projekt Red is trying, two, they're being open about it. That I like to make my choices based on backing things I can actively agree with instead of something I disagree with less. I don't like lesser of evils decision making, so that was actually something I was like, that is something I can actually say, good for you, CDPR, you're trying. So I was persuaded by that, but now we get to the part where I actually have to retract. It was bugging me, the fact that somebody pointed out, and I mentioned this on Friday, somebody pointed out CD Projekt Red didn't actually promise to not crunch. And so I went back and found the original article about what CDPR actually did say. And, well, let me show you. And we'll go from there. Okay, oh, this looks like ass. Hang on, let me correct the shot. It looked okay before okay. So, let's, here, here it is. Okay. So here was the actual quote from spring 2019, May 17th, 2019. Here we are. So, okay. The developer best known for the Witcher series has cultivated a reputation for crunch, asking its employees to work nights and weekends for weeks or months at a time. That's not actually what crunch is, but crunch is when it's to the point that it makes you ill. But studio management now tells Kotaku they want to improve their work-life balance, even if they continue to feel that crunch is a necessity. Again, May 2019. Even if they continue to feel that crunch is a necessity. Okay. We're known, let me be humble for a moment here, we are known for treating gamers with respect, said one of the company's co-founders. Someone who is Polish, please tell me how to pronounce this last name. This looks like Owinski for me, but that accent, I'm not familiar with that Polish accent. So somebody please tell me how to pronounce that. This is what we've been working hard toward, and I actually would like for us to be known for treating developers with respect. One of the ways the company plans to do that, Owinski said, is through a non-obligatory crunch policy that isn't brand new, but that the Warsaw-based CD Projekt Red plans to push harder. He wants to make it clear to Cyberpunk's 2077 developers that even when the studio asks them to work on nights and weekends, it's not mandatory. We've been working towards it for some time already. We've been communicating clearly to people that, of course, there are certain moments where we need to work harder. Like, I think the E3 demo is a pretty good example, but we want to be more humane and treat people with respect. If they need to take time off, they can take time off. Nobody will be frowned upon if this will be requested. Of course, anyone who's worked anywhere knows that a request from the boss doesn't need to be mandatory for it to be something you have to do. Erwinski wouldn't promise to limit crunch to certain periods or offer specific numbers. I repeat, Owinski wouldn't promise to limit crunch to certain periods or offer specific numbers, other than to say that he hoped making this public statement would help CD Projekt Red employees feel more comfortable telling their managers when they don't want to put in extra hours. I think this is the commitment we're ready to make today, and we'll be listening to people. We definitely open a lot of lines of dialogue here, and we'd like to start with that. So, once again, to summarize, CD Projekt Red did not promise no crunch. And that's what's been reported. What was reported is that CD Projekt Red went back on their promise of no crunch. We cannot prove that this crunch, that all they did was go from non-mandatory crunch to mandatory crunch. Now, I suspect that if somebody got sick because of COVID, they don't want people coming into the office with a cough. But as some people correctly pointed out, the sensationalism that surrounded this article, the most recent article, was somewhat misleading. They never said no crunch. They said it will be it won't be mandatory, we hope. Essentially, that's what they said. Now, here's what I have to retract, because I initially said, hey, great reporting, but here's the name on the original article. Jason Schreier, the same guy that wrote the screaming headlines for this one. And he didn't say anything that was necessarily inaccurate. Let me pull up, because this is an interesting thing about reporting the news accurately and reporting the news in a fair and balanced way. Because I don't. So here's Jason Schreier has subsequently moved from Kotaku to Bloomberg. And the headline now is, now I have to resize my window. Sorry, guys. So here we are. Cyberpunk 2077 publisher orders 6-day weeks ahead of launch. So it just says it's mandatory. Executive Marcin Iwinski last year told gaming website Kotaku that the company would be avoiding mandatory crunch and was committed to allowing employees to work without overtime. That second part, they did not say. They did not say that second part. They said, Where is it? Um, where's that part that's here? Even if they continue to feel that crunch is a necessity. Right there, same guy reported on this, okay? Studio management now tells Kotaku that they want to improve their work-life balance even if they continue to feel that crunch is a necessity. Was committed to allowing employees to work without overtime. They never said they were committed to allowing employees to work without overtime. They never actually said that. They did say they would be avoiding mandatory crunch. That part's true. The second part is not true. And that matters. And I said this was really good reporting before. I have to eat my shirt a little bit. Yeah. Arga. And so this feels to me like a story that should have been reported as we did our best, we didn't hit it, we're going to continue to do our best, and somebody decided to sensationalize it. That's good click-driven internet revenue modeling. That's not necessarily great reporting. If he just reported the story without including the piece that was false, there's still a story in them going back on mandatory overtime. That is a change in policy on the fly. But the Bloomberg story contains something that just is not true. They never ever said that they were committed to allowing employees to work without overtime. They never said that. They said it would not be mandatory if somebody needed time off. Of course, they could take it. I suspect that is still probably true. If somebody just goes kneeless or just gets completely exhausted or gets really, really sick, this is the age of COVID. Nobody with half a brain is going to, like I said, have somebody come in with a cough. So I just wanted to follow up on that. And this is what I like about this channel, because we have these discussions and we get to the bottom of it and you guys make me think and I go back and I rework, I check. I actually check. And I probably should have checked before the original article, but I guess this is a mistake, but I trusted that the guy who reported the story initially would remember what he reported and report not just the present news accurately, but the past news. Make of that what you will. I just wanted to correct that. Now, there's one more thing I have to do some cleanup on, some housekeeping, because I've been noticing some comments of people angry typing about podcasts I do for another service. There are opportunities to comment on those podcasts where you get your podcasts. There are comment sections. They are received. I have seen them through the back end of the server. I don't access them. It is I am not doing the management, doing like the day-to-day, the data analysis on the FU network stuff. I don't do that. I just do a podcast and I contribute some articles. Comment on those there, please. Do not come yelling at me here because you don't like my thoughts on Breaking Bad or any other thing I talk about there. I do not talk about politics on this channel because the regular viewers do not want this to be a politics channel. They want this to be a gaming, some philosophy, yes, some what do certain theories say, but we have to be very, very careful to do not step into the realm of politicization. And by that, I believe it to be whatever my personal political affiliations, political leanings are. This is not the place for that. This is something where I look at theories and facts and not what this candidate or that candidate. We tried that in 2016. I did it because I was like, whatever happens, I want to be on the record saying, what? I could see the train coming, but I'm not doing that again because the train's here now, right? So, one, if anybody sees somebody claiming in the comment section that they have no ability to comment on those podcasts, where they get the podcasts, this is not true. Now, I don't know every single service that it populates to, but somebody somewhere is commenting on these podcasts. I have seen them, okay? There are also Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts and all that stuff like that for the FU network. Comment there. So if anybody sees something about, I can't comment there, that's why I'm here, it is not factual, okay? I'm not going to say these people are deliberately misleading, but it's not factual. They are mistaken, okay? I'm going to see if just not responding to these comments is enough. They are totally off topic. They contribute nothing to the discussion here. If people continue to do this, now that it's been called out of this line you're slinging that you can't comment anywhere else in the appropriate place for this, now that it's been called out as not factually accurate, if you continue, I may have to start removing those comments because they're not even remotely on topic. I don't understand why people get so mad about a Breaking Bad. They even went on and claimed I didn't like Better Call Saul. And I love Better Call Saul. I got no problem with Better Call Saul, so that's even inaccurate. But that's besides the point. The point is, please comment on this channel's content here, please. Because there are other places to comment on other stuff. If I do something you don't like on Twitter, comment on Twitter. Oh, she's blocked me on Twitter? Well, there's a very high bar for me actually blocking someone on Twitter. So if you were that big an asshole, gee, that says something about you, because to say I block as a last resort is an understatement. I got a little more block happy with the whole Last of Us 2 thing because there were things that looked a lot like Russian bots. So congratulations. If you got blocked, you may have looked like a Russian bot. Or there is one guy who keeps taking out new accounts to avoid a ban, to do ban evasion. And it's got to be 8 to 10 accounts now. Like he's not even clever about it. He has the same naming ritual for everything. So yeah. So just for people who, if you come across that in those comments, this is what's going on. It's not accurate. Okay. And there's even a, God, I don't have to say so if you don't like a tweet I do, please comment on Twitter. If you got blocked on Twitter, it's your own damn fault. Okay. If you don't like something I did on an FU Gazette article, comment there, please. If you don't like something I did on an FU podcast, comment there, please. This is for video games. Trust me, it works better this way. Because this is the last response anybody is going to get from me on this. The next thing, you may get a warning. Maybe. If I'm feeling charitable. But I'm not promising anything. If you junk up the comments with stuff that's not on topic, and I'm not talking you have to, for anybody who can be literal, I can be literal. Anybody who's like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. If it's about video games and it was like something you forgot to mention on a video comment before, that's okay, right? If it's about something with boss fight, or if it's just sort of a general comment, but it's a comment on this channel, that's cool. Or if I occasionally do deviate from games like the Johnny Depp coverage that I periodically do, that's cool too. It's just got to be stuff that's actually connected to something that happened here. Make sense? Makes sense. That should be pretty easy to figure out. Because I wouldn't care, but I know people get upset about this stuff. I was going to let it go. And it's just like, you know what? No, because plenty of people come here and behave. So it's not fair to them to just let this go on because it's misinformation. It's not true. But again, as well, I think a lot of people would be looking at it going, what are they talking about? Because there isn't a ton of overlap between that stuff and here. Precisely because it's, listed in politics and culture or something like that on iTunes. And this is deliberately politics free. See, people can separate it, but that separation's deliberate. So that's just me making it clear what's going on there. So you guys know. Everybody else, if you see them just continuing to be ridiculous about this, just ignore it. Just ignore it. It'll go away eventually. It'll calm down. People like this don't tend to stick around very long. So, again, if you want to join us for our surprisingly rowdy Zoom parties, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching.